Hello, I'm Ritz Blues, and this is Suburban Commando, a game released in 1991 about the film of the same name from New Line Cinema. It stars Hulk Hogan, Christopher Lloyd, a few other, Hollywood folks that you may recognize, but those are the two that most people know from this film, and those are the only ones that I cared to remember. Although there are definitely other good performances in it. It's very much a 90s wrestling slash 90s slice of life domestic suburban comedy plus sci-fi mashup. It was released on the DOS and from alternative software, and I'm going to be playing on macho difficulty. Yeah, there's wimp, mean, and macho. Now we're going to be doing the darkness percent category, or basically starting at level 2, where we only play the platforming levels and we don't play the really boring scrolling shooter at the beginning in the interest of time. So the password to do that, we enter our password is darkness, which is a reference to the film Army of Darkness. All right, and so we've started here. So, here we go. So, Suburban Commando is kind of almost a spoof on like Star Wars and like science fiction films. It's meant to be a goofy 90s comedy that just happened to also feature prominent wrestlers like Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker. In it, Hulk Hogan's character plays Shep Ramsey, who is basically a space cop. And he is currently on a mission in game to defeat the evil General Suitor. And he's basically kind of like a lizard Darth Vader, for lack of a better word. As you can tell, it's a lovely, high-quality platformer. And by high quality, I mean the platforms kind of work. So we're going to be kind of stumbling our way through the levels as fast as we can in the interest of beating it as a speedrun. It is fairly challenging to do quickly. The default key setups for this are Q and A are up and down, and O and P are left and right. So it's kind of like QAOP controls, but a little different. And because the controls are so challenging, I'm playing this on a DOS box. I have changed the key bindings to make it much more appropriate for something on like a joystick or controller. So definitely, if you get your hands on this game and you want to play it on DOSBox, I recommend you do that. However, if you want to be particularly mean, I did select this game for Cusa Grande Live at AGDQ 2026, and I forced the players to play the game with the original QAOP controls, which they adapted to surprisingly quickly. Alright, only 2 bombs left to plant, which means I still have 1 more to plant somewhere here. Alright, cool. We have that, so I just need to pop the lever, and that should be the end of this stage. But yeah, Shep Ramsey is here to defeat General Suitor, and so he does so by planting bombs on his mothership. In the film, he actually does confront General Suitor. We're waiting for a cycle here we can guard. Hooray. Looks like a Final Fantasy pose. Isn't that cool? Anyway. Blocking is pretty much useless. And that's stage 1. Now for the boss. And I say stage 1, I mean stage 2. Because we skipped stage 1. This is darkness mode. Anyway. So here we have the Undertaker. You can see his character in the background looks a little less like the Undertaker, but for whatever reason, his fighting game portrait looks like the Undertaker. The Undertaker does portray a bounty hunter villain character in the movie. He does have one speaking line, which we'll talk about in a little bit later. All right, so Shep has defeated General Suitor and destroyed his ship. Unfortunately, in the process of doing so, his ship was damaged, and so he had to basically emergency land on planet Earth, hide his ship inside of an old like roller disco, and he has to wait 6 weeks in Suburbia to let the ship repair itself automatically, but it'll take 6 weeks. That, and like his commanding officer was like, hey man, you've been working too hard, go take a vacation on Earth. And he's like, what's there to do on Earth? Ugh, such a primitive planet. And so yeah, he has to find a place to live in Suburbia, and so he winds up shacking up at Christopher Lloyd's house. Christopher Lloyd's character is a guy named Charlie, who is an architect, and he's kind of a spineless, nerdy guy. And so he's like a perfect like foil to Ramsey's confident, hyper-masculine character. We made it, hooray, cool. So the two wind up hanging out together. Eventually, they don't see eye to eye at first, but in true '90s film fashion, they eventually become friends, and they learn from one another. So in this stage, we have to collect parts for Ramsey's ship for repair. And so there are a bunch of computer chips hidden all over the place that we have to collect. I don't remember there being a roller coaster in the movie, but there's a roller coaster here. I do remember there being a mime in the movie and it being very funny, but we just, saved that mime there. Hooray. A mime is a terrible thing to waste. Alright, so we're almost at the end of this, and yeah, as is the case with, a lot of early DOS platformers and things like that, you have repetitive, level design where you have to go back and forth through levels to get keys and avoid the same obstacle over and over again. This platform does not move anywhere near the right speed for you to stay on it, and is more likely to deal damage to you than actually help you. Alright, missed the cycle on the elevator, that's okay. But that's the end of stage 2. By the way, cars punch you. It's quite a fun level design. Alright, so here we have our second conflict here with the Undertaker's character, where he delivers a lovely line, "You're a dead man, Ramsey!" In reality, that doesn't happen until later on in the film, but we won't see him anymore in this game. The bank scene from the movie is also where Christopher Lloyd, gets frozen and delivers the line later on that says, "I was frozen today." Great quotable line from the film. It's probably the only quotable line from the film, aside from, "It's the 90s. I'm gonna sue ya." So here we are in the final stage of the game. At this point, Shepard and Charlie are buddies, and they're trying to figure out how to get Shepard off the planet. And so he needs to get these super duper rare crystals that are hard to find on planet Earth, and it just so turns out that Charlie's boss, the CEO of this architecture company, happens to have a bunch of awards that are made out of that kind of crystal, and so they're going to steal them. It also turns out that the skyscraper here is under construction in the film, and so the game developers took the phrase "under construction" and just ran with it. Because the entire level is basically like weird elevators and scaffolding everywhere. So we kind of have to, it's kind of a labyrinth, and there's a lot of different paths we have to go through to find everything. So if we go to the right here, there's our only source of jet fuel in the level, and if we use it all, it'll be a little harder. But there's two hidden paths we have to go through there. It's great, truly wonderful level design. Definitely not being sarcastic. Please don't do this. Hidden floors and walls are fun for bonuses, but please don't make them mandatory for level completion. It's just not good game design. If you are going to make hidden walls mandatory for level completion, then provide the player with some sort of way to make it obvious that a wall is hidden either later, like through knowledge gain later on in the game, or and like backtrack to it, or some other means of discovering it. So there's my soapbox on that. Alright, so here is the worst jump in the game. And of course we biff it on the first try. It's very difficult because if you bonk your head, you fall off. If you jump off the second platform at the wrong time, you fall off. But here we are back at the start of the stage, and we're gonna pop down to this little area down here. Wait patiently and don't let water drip on our male pattern baldness. There's the cycle, and we miss it, of course. This is perfectly out of cycle where no matter when I ran, I was going to get hit by it. We're also on our last life, so I have to be a little careful here. There we go. Okay, so we have a little bit of jet fuel left. We didn't waste too much of it back there. So we're going to use it to kind of skip a cycle here. There we go. And that lets us grab this elevator a lot sooner than the normal route. So this elevator leads to the last half of the stage, the upper half, and there's 2 levers we need to hit. I accidentally missed that, but instead of coyote jumping, we got the rocket. So we are a little low on health, so I will take the safety health here. If I were trying for a world record run, I'd be already moving on. But there is plenty of safety health and a U1P. Here we go. Alright. So, there's one last gem we need to get on the top here, and then there's a pipe that will take us all the way back down to the bottom. So we're going to run as fast as we can so that magnet doesn't catch us. And then we take this pipe back down all the way to the bottom of the tower, and we have to jump out Sonic the Hedgehog style right about here. That's the only way to get that gem. If you miss it, you have to climb the entire tower all over again, which is probably about a 3-minute time loss. So, yeah, have to either practice or pad the estimate accordingly. I haven't missed it before, but there's always a that's never happened before moment, so I will include that in the estimate just in case. But yeah, we've now collected all of the crystals, so now we just need to make our way back to the exit, which is at the very beginning of the stage, which we'll have to cross through for the 3rd time. So annoying. We still have to wait for this platform to get to the very top because our actual jump is from here to here. And now we can make our way to the beginning of this stage. It's so awful. Vertical movement in this game feels so bad. Horizontal is also kind of bad, but at least it's fast. We wait for this. And we finish the stage down here. Hooray. Alright, and finally, oh no, General Suitor's back, and we're at the roller disco. So yeah, we have to defeat General Suitor. In the movie, we definitely do not punch and kick General Suitor to death, but instead have to distract him until Charlie sets the explosives on Ramsey's ship to explode and kill General Suitor. And that's time. So yeah, that is Suburban Commando for the DOS. Hopefully you enjoyed that run as much as I enjoyed routing it and playing through it. It's a platformer. You can finish it. It's just, it's got those typical issues with those sort of 90s DOS platformers have, with difficult controls, kind of frustrating level design. But, you know, at least it's somewhat true to the design of the movie, at least. So, interestingly, that's kind of it for the ending there. You get to enter, I have a new hiss score, so I'll put my name in there. There we go. The high score list is the names of the characters from Reservoir Dogs, Mr. Blonde, Mr. Pink, Mr. Orange, and so on. Eddie, for whatever reason. And then the passwords for the game are Darkness, Clockwork, and THX1138, which are references to other films, Army of Darkness, Clockwork Orange, and THX113. Anyway, that's all I've got for this in terms of like references and discussion. Hopefully you enjoyed the run. You can tell it's obviously kind of a fairly goofy, silly game. And the darkness percent cuts out about 5 minutes of absolutely boring scrolling shooter. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching.